The wind whispered through the towering pines like a chorus of lost souls, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and decay. The forest had always been a place of solace for me, a refuge from the ceaseless demands of the world. But tonight, it was different. Tonight, the shadows seemed to writhe with a life of their own, and the trees leaned in as though conspiring against me. I had come here searching for her. Amelia had vanished 3 nights ago, leaving behind nothing but a cryptic note scrawled in her jagged handwriting. "Find me where the trees have eyes." The phrase had gnawed at my mind, its meaning elusive yet foreboding. And so, armed with nothing but a flashlight and a growing sense of dread, I ventured into the heart of the forest, following faint paths that seemed to appear and vanish underfoot. The first sign of something amiss was the silence. No chirping of crickets, no rustle of nocturnal creatures. Only the rhythmic crunch of my boots on the leaf-strewn ground and the occasional snap of a twig. It was as though the forest were holding its breath, waiting for something, or someone. Then I saw them. Faces, carved into the bark of ancient oaks and birches, their features twisted in expressions of agony and fear. The flashlight's beam trembled as I traced the contours of each grotesque visage. They seemed almost alive, their hollow eyes following my every move. A cold shiver ran down my spine as a voice, barely more than a whisper, brushed against my ear. "Turn back." I spun around, the light darting wildly through the gloom, but there was no one there. Just the trees, their gnarled branches stretching like skeletal hands toward the starless sky. My breath quickened, each exhale visible in the icy air. Still, I pressed on. I told myself it was just my imagination, that the forest's eerie ambience was playing tricks on me. But deep down, I knew better. The path narrowed, winding deeper into the woods, until I came upon a clearing. In the center stood an ancient crumbling stone altar, overgrown with moss and vines. Around it, candles burned with an unnatural blue flame, their light casting flickering shadows that seemed to dance to a soundless rhythm. And there she was. Amelia, standing motionless on the far side of the altar. Her back was to me, her long hair hanging in disheveled strands. Relief flooded my chest, but it was quickly smothered by an overwhelming sense of unease. "Amelia." My voice cracked as I stepped closer. She didn't respond. "Amelia, it's me. I'm here to take you home." She turned slowly, her movements stiff and unnatural, as though her body were a marionette controlled by unseen strings. When her face came into view, my stomach dropped. Her eyes were empty voids, blacker than the night surrounding us, and her lips curled into a smile that didn't belong to her. "You shouldn't have come," she said, her voice layered with tones that were not her own. The ground beneath my feet trembled, and a low guttural growl reverberated through the clearing. Shadows coalesced around the altar, forming a towering amorphous figure with eyes that burned like embers. The air grew thick, oppressive, and every instinct screamed at me to run. But I couldn't move. The entity's gaze pinned me in place, its presence seeping into my mind like a dark tide. Images flashed before my eyes, endless forests, countless faces carved into trees, all screaming silently. I realized with dawning horror what they were, the souls of those who had come before me, ensnared by the same force that now threatened to claim me. "Leave," Amelia's voice, or whatever had taken her form, commanded. "Leave, and never return." The shadows surged toward me, and with a burst of adrenaline, I tore myself free from their grasp, stumbling back the way I had come. The forest seemed alive now, its branches clawing at my clothes and face, its roots rising to trip me. But I didn't stop. I couldn't. When I finally broke free of the trees and collapsed onto the dirt road leading home, the first rays of dawn were breaking over the horizon. Behind me, the forest stood silent and still, as though nothing had happened. But I knew better. Amelia was gone, lost to whatever darkness dwelled within those woods. And as I staggered away, her final words echoed in my mind. "The trees have eyes. They're always watching."